cannot wait to share it with you guys. So the first thing we're going to make is these really fun Baby Yoda bookmarks. Now I found the image out on Etsy. It was by a Craft Klutz. I will put the link to her site down below, so if you want to go ahead and download the image she has available, go ahead and do that. That's what I did. I went ahead and purchased it. And now I'm going to go ahead and create our bookmarks. Now you might say, okay, a bookmark is just a plain rectangle. I've got a really fun idea for it that I think you're going to like. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to open up Word because I want to go ahead and create it in Word. I feel like that's probably a piece of software that most of you have. I think Word's pretty easy to work in, so I'll go ahead and show you. So the first thing I'm going to do is navigate down to where I have the image stored. You can see there he is. And what's so fun about this is I can make it whatever size I want. So I'm going to shrink it down, and I think I ended up making it about 3 by, I believe it was 5 inches. And then what I do is I doubled it up because I wanted to make sure that I had 2 of them, because if I'm going to use cardstock anyway, I might as well use up all the paper, right? Now I went ahead and adjusted the margins so they were only 1/2 inch because I wanted to maximize my cardstock. The next thing I'm going to do is go to Shapes and then draw a rectangle. Now what I'm going to do, and let me just show you here, we're going to go get that Shapes again and Rectangle. And then what I'm going to do is draw the size of the actual outline. Now it'll make more sense as we go along, but you can see I can, make it a really skinny tall bookmark. I can make it a really shorter and heavier bookmark, or whatever I really decided. And so I kind of went with just a little bit around it. Now I right click on it and I'm going to change the fill to no fill, because I want to make sure that there is no fill so I can see my image. And then I'm going to right click and do text wrap, and I'm going to have it to the front because I want to be able to kind of use it almost like a photo program. So I'm kind of faking out Word, if you will. It's gonna sit above any text that would be there if I actually started typing something. Now from here I went ahead and I made the outline thicker, so I thickened up the weight of the line. So you can see I went with a 4.5, which I think looks really nice and thick, and this will be really easy to work with. Now, the fun part about this, now again, all of our projects are for adults, so our videos are meant for parents to watch first, and then go ahead and take these crafts, and then you go ahead and share them with your children once you're done. So just know that that is why we are here. Again, we're Team Mold. If you like what we're doing so far, please go ahead down below and subscribe. We'd love to have you join our community. Now I am going to color him in using Copic markers, but again, you could color him in using crayons, you could color him in using paint, you could color him in using colored pencils, you name it, okay? I just have Copic markers because I do a lot of art, so that's what I opted for. They're just a nice flowy marker. They're a little on the expensive side, but they work really well. There's a couple other type of markers you can pick up on Amazon, and I'll link a couple of those down below if you're interested, that I would suggest that are moderately priced but still work well. You know what? You could even use Crayola. I mean, to be really honest, he's pretty basic colors, so there's not a whole lot of colors that you really need. Now, you can see with Copics, I build them up. Think about them like almost like watercolor. So I'm going to go ahead and color him in, and then once he's done, we'll move on to the next step. And I do want to just remind you, don't forget to like and subscribe to our video and our channel. We would love to have you come back again. I do a lot of DIY crafting, adventures, and more, so be sure to subscribe. We also have a join option where you get extra special surprises. Alright, so now that I've got them all colored in, we're going to go ahead and cut them out. Now, I'm going to be very honest, scissors work just fine. So you can cut them out with scissors, no worry. You know, don't worry about it. I have access to a paper trimmer, so I'm going to use that. What I like about a paper trimmer is it gives me a nice straight line. Again, there's no right or wrong, right? And you can even, you know, do this with your family. You know, what a fun project this makes. And especially, you know, I'm here in Wisconsin and it gets cold here. Now, I don't want to jinx this, but we've had a couple of days just before New Year's where we hit almost 60 here, so it's kind of scary. Hopefully, it means we're going to have a short winter. I'm fingers crossed on that one. So I'm hoping for the groundhog, right? Now, bookmarks are fun because you can make them for your kids. Maybe surprise your kids. You know, if they're doing really well in reading and they love Star Wars, make them one of these. How fun would that be? You know, I mean, you're not going to sell these. They're just for fun, for personal use, and they inspire your child to read. I mean, that's the whole point, you know, is to do stuff like this that, you know, surprise them. Do something that you wouldn't necessarily always do, but, you know, inspires them to do something more. Now, I showed you with one image. If you go out to Etsy or there are hundreds of different line arts that you can pick from, but you can do the same kind of process. Now, you might say, okay, cool, it's a rectangle. Are we done? Nope, I've got a fun idea what we can do. Now, you can use any image, like I said, to go ahead and make these bookmarks. You don't have to use the one I am. This is just to inspire you. Now, I'm going to do two different mats on these. One I'm going to do in black, and the other one I'm going to use some of this Stargazer paper because I just think it's such a fun pack of paper. I got it at Hobby Lobby, and it has, I really wanted to use this one with the little hologram stars because I thought my kids would really like it. But I opted for a sky background instead. I almost went with it, and then I opted for this one. Now, I think these are going to be really nice, and what's nice is that you're going to double up the thickness of the paper, so these will be really strong bookmarks. And that's, honestly, that's the best part. So I'm going to go ahead and glue him on. Now I'm going to glue the whole back to the whole thing because I want it to be super strong. Now I use Tombow adhesive glue, but you could use a glue stick. You could use double-sided tape if that's what you've got. I mean, heck, you could probably be pretty creative and use just regular Scotch tape or whatever you've got. So once the entire bookmark is together, we are going to go in and just trim up, and this is, you know, personal style, right? I'm just matting it lightly so it has just a little bit, it's about 1/8 of an inch of the sky on the sides of it. And look, it just adds just a little bit of something to it. Really like it. Now the next step, and this is where it gets really cool, we're going to go ahead and take a hole punch. Now I used a very small hole punch, not a big one, because what we want to do is we're going to see how I popped out the bottom part of his, I don't even know what that's called. Is that like a baby crib? I'm not sure. Let's call it a crib or a stroller, a robotic stroller. Yeah, I'm not sure what you call it, but there it is. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and cut out the bottom part because that's what will actually hug the pages of your bookmark. So watch what we're going to do. We're going to use the hole punch, and I am using a very small hole punch. Typically these size hole punches are used in card making, or like if you were going to make earring holders, like if you were doing craft shows, a lot of people use that for that because you can just put earrings right through. You can get them at Michael's and Joann's. They're easy. Although I'll be really honest, again, I don't have an X-Acto blade upstairs with me here while I'm crafting, and I apologize, typically I do. So if you had an X-Acto blade, you could just zoop right across the bottom, just cut out that bottom half of the baby stroller, carriage, crib, whatever it is. And you can go in, and I use this as my cheat to get through without making these huge gashes, right? Because you can't really with double thick paper. So what you can see is I'm just going right along that line. So again, if I had an X-Acto blade, I could just right along that X-Acto blade line, cut it out. It would be perfect. I don't have one while I'm doing this video. So again, I'm trying to show you, just be creative with the tools you have. If you don't have everything, I'm sure that there's something in your house that, you know, you can MacGyver it, right? And make it work. So now the big trick here is just make sure you clean it up a little bit. If there's any rough edges, you know, you don't want to give it to your kid with rough edges. The other thing you could do, if you didn't want to do this last step, you could laminate this at this point, and that would be a fun bookmark. But let me show you how cool this is if you do it the way that we did today. You pop the bottom part down over a couple of pages, and how cool is that? See how it just hugs it? Now watch, we close the book, and he's hanging out going, hey, right here, don't forget to read. Peace out, don't forget to read. You know what I mean? I just thought it was so much fun, you know, especially because it's a nice little curved edge that hugs the bottom. I thought it was a practically perfect way to make a bookmark, so I really like it. I think it's so cute. Let me show you one more book. Got this book for Christmas. It's a small business book. It's very inspiring, and it's a workbook to kind of get you going, so I'm really excited about that. But you can see, look how cute he holds my page for me, and again, he's still kind of giving me like the, hey, don't forget to come back to this book. Let's read it together. Now the other option would be to put the little circle forward, but I think it works so much better when you put the little circle back, because then you get the full bookmark. And that's why it's important to double layer, because you want to make sure it's going to hold up. Now again, you can use any graphic that you might have, but it's a super easy way to get your kids inspired to want to read. And maybe you make some of these to announce an upcoming trip. Maybe you make some of these to bring reading material on the airplane or in the car while they're driving. I think it's so adorable, and I am so happy with him. I think he looks great. Well, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to visit my website, JessicaLynnOriginal.com. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. We would love to have you back again. And then be sure to like this video. Thank you again. I hope that you have a great day. Take care, everybody.